Hi, welcome to the Back to Basic moment for this week. My name is Matt, and this week we continue our journey through Genesis. Last week, Cherie took you through the creation story that calls us to stewardship. And then on Sunday, Pastor Laura preached on Adam and Eve, their fall, and their consequences. So, what's next? Adam and Eve messed up, but that wasn't the end of their story. Genesis chapter 4 says that Adam and Eve conceived and gave birth to Cain. Eve says, "I have produced a man with the help of the Lord." After Cain, the two had Abel. And though the two were brothers, they had different traits. Scripture tells us that Cain was a tiller of the ground and Abel was the keeper of sheep. The two sons brought their offerings before God. Cain brought fruit of the ground and Abel brought the firstlings of his flock. At this point, the story takes a turn because God favored Abel's offering over the firstborn son, Cain's offering. But Scripture never really tells us why. Cain becomes consumed with anger and jealousy over the favor that God shows to his brother, and he murders Abel. And when God asks Cain the whereabouts of his brother, Cain replies with those infamous words, "Am I my brother's keeper?" There's so much more to this story, but ultimately, the question that Cain asked, "Am I my brother's keeper?" echoes throughout Scripture and into the present day. In a time of unprecedented information and misinformation within a culture that can seem like it wants us to push people away and divide us, we may find ourselves wondering if we are each other's keeper. But when we choose to be our sibling's keeper, we acknowledge that systemic and cultural injustices are incompatible with our faith. When we say, "I am my sibling's keeper," we say that we value access to mental health care over the mass incarceration of human life. We say that we value safe education and a foundation of love for our society instead of an idolatry of weapons of war that stain our streets and school hallways with children's blood. We say that we value a person's right to love who they love and be who God beautifully designed them to be instead of the idolatry of old exclusive dogma. We reach across aisles, pews, borders, races, creeds, and faiths to see that our siblings are a reflection of the love of God in this world. Ultimately, when we decide that we are each other's keeper, we choose to love. And love, my friends, well, that never fails. I want to thank you for joining us for this Back to Basic moment. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, and be sure to come back for Pastor Laura's sermon this week on Cain and Abel.